Christian women living in Pakistan are under constant threat of acid attack. As many as 400 attacks occur in that country each year. 70% of them happen to women under the age of 18. The most recent attack actually claimed the life of 25-year-old Asma Yaqub of Sialkot, Pakistan. Well, joining us with more is Wilson Chowdhury. He's president of the British Pakistani Christians Association. Wilson, so tell us what happened to Asma.
Well, Asma had been harassed by a Muslim man who had taken a shine to her, a 30-year-old man named Mr. Gujjar. He was totally infatuated, but she had absolutely no inclination of this until he put forward a proposal for marriage. She declined his offer, and as a consequence of this, he plotted a revenge. And when he had an opportunity, when she was cutting hair at a pre-party for a wedding, he told the bride family that he was the brother of Asma. When she came outside, he threw acid on her and then set her alight. She suffered 90% burns, was obviously in pain, was driven to the local hospital by the bride family and was unconscious for many hours. The strange thing was, because like in many hospitals in Pakistan, there were no special burns units. Despite all of her pain and suffering, she had to travel a further 3 hours to get to a hospital with appropriate equipment.
So, Wilson, tell me, why are Christian women often attacked? I mean, it seems to me it was like, well, if you're not going to have me, then no one can have you. Why Christian women?
Christian women are vulnerable. If a Muslim man attacks them, their family can do very little to protect them. When Christian women are kidnapped and raped, it's almost impossible to wrench them free from the rapist because he has an authentic certificate of marriage produced by a rogue imam. When you're so disempowered, your women become the most vulnerable target, especially for men in a country like Pakistan, where Islam is the major faith. And where imams are preaching that there's a special place in heaven for those who convert by kidnapping, raping, and forcing people, Christians or other minorities, into marriage. Christian women are seen as anathema, pariah status, to be used as Muslim men please. So when they deny the advances of a Muslim man who feels he's super attractive, it becomes a huge slight on him, and he feels that he has to take revenge.
Years ago, I met a young Christian woman from Faisalabad named Gulnaz who worked at the phone office, and she rejected the advances of a Muslim man who wanted her to go out on a date with him. After being rejected, I remember that he returned and threw acid on her, and I don't think the law back then required a mandatory sentence for that crime. Has the law been changed in Pakistan, toughened?
Again, there are acid attack laws now in Pakistan, but they're very rarely applied when it comes to minorities. Muslim men can afford to buy themselves out of trouble. Don't forget they have qisas and diyat laws, where as long as the victim family accepts forgiveness for the perpetrator, the man can get off. And obviously he would do that by paying an appropriate bribe. Most Christian families are forced into accepting these bribes because they're being coerced by threats from many of the Muslims in the local community. So
it's really like blood money allowed by Sharia law, is that correct?
Indeed. Sharia law is one of the awful banes of Islamic countries. When a country applies Sharia law, minorities become completely undermined. Their value, their ability to speak out against issues is removed from them because they have a weaker weight of authority. But more to the point, Muslims know that they can, because they're a majority, apply pressure on the vulnerable minority, fearful of the attack they might suffer from a community 10 times their size.
So basically these men are free then to go and do this again to someone else.
It's not unusual for repeat crimes of this nature from the same perpetrator.
I know in Bangladesh they enacted the death penalty against perpetrators who were convicted of acid attacks, and the number of cases have dropped there significantly. So how likely is Pakistan to adopt a similar law?
Pakistan has the death sentence for a number of crimes, and that will continue. What I will say is that there probably is a death sentence because Asma Yaqub has been killed. So, for all intents and purposes, she's been murdered, and murder can have the ultimate sentence of death.
Wilson, we're running out of time, but finally, I want to know, what is your group doing to help women like Asma?
Well, we were there, to help Asma. We were offered to pay for medical attention for Asma and provided assistance with travel for the family. And we're still working with them. We're paying for the funeral. We're going to pay for the unfortunate expenses of having to relay her corpse back to her city. But we do what we can. We provide advocacy. We speak with governments, highlighting the issues pertaining to Christians living in Pakistan, hoping that international governments will intervene on their behalf. I mean, this story is sad in the fact that had this woman come to us earlier with the harassment, we could have put her into a safe house. Unfortunately, not enough people yet in Pakistan know about the work that we're doing.
Okay, Wilson Chowdhury of the British Pakistani Christians Association, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining us.